UFC is at the White House. How is that keeping politics out of sport? Do you know how hard it is to be left-wing and watch this sport and try to defend it? So I don't care how many people have to die. I want to see the monster truck do a flip. Hello people, welcome to the Steel Show. But this week we're talking about, anyone who knows me knows I'm a big fan of the UFC and mixed martial arts, all combat sports. I'll watch any combat, during the Olympics, I'll watch any combat sport and I'll talk about it like I know what's going on. I haven't got a clue what's going on in Greco wrestling, but I'm going to tell people I do. That's what being a man is. It's watching something for 5 minutes, watching someone who's dedicated their life to it and going, they're shit at it. That's what being a guy is. But the UFC this week, they're having this massive card for UFC 250, I believe it is. Quite a good card. They're doing it at the White House, calling it UFC Freedom. Now, this reminds me of, in the Roman Empire, the games at the Colosseum, as the empire was declining and collapsing, got more and more mental. They had to up the stakes, and that's what they're doing with the UFC at the moment, because the UFC has actually been in a bit of turmoil for the things I don't really understand and won't go into in the business side of it, these new deals that they've signed, these sorts of things. I'm not too clear cut on anything about business status, but I do understand sort of, what would be the word, social status of the UFC at the minute. Because as a liberal, being an MMA fan, it is one of the hardest defenses you will ever have as a liberal person. Because every week, a fighter will do something absolutely batshit insane, to the point it doesn't even register in the world of MMA. It's when normal people go, hey, did you see that thing that fighter did? And you go, oh, yeah, they just do that sometimes. So there's a fighter called Sean Strickland who is a bit of a character, and he's actually been very outspoken against Trump, the Trump administration, the Epstein files. Maybe we're about to have a liberal champion. This will be cool. And then this week, Sean Strickland posted this video of him beating up Dylan Mulvaney to promote Pride, I guess. It's a very nice kick. Yeah, no, Dylan's got, the rest should be stepping in there. Dylan hasn't got a guard up. What the f did he enter into the AI system to make that? If I take a photo on ChatGPT and go, what would I look like at 12% body fat? It goes, we're not going to do it. It will give you an eating disorder. Yes, I have done that before in trying to lose weight to get ready for summer. Do you know how hard it is to be left-wing and watch this sport and try to defend it? Do you have any idea what it's like when you're having to explain to people who already see it as thugs taking each other to the ground and beating the literal shit out of each other, and you have to explain, no, it's an art, there's a lot of love for the martial arts involved in this, and then the fighters post videos of them beating up a trans woman on Pride Month, on the start of Pride Month. Here is the issue that we face on the left. MMA is cool. It is so sick. It is so cool. But it's owned by the right. It's the same with monster trucks. Monster trucks are sick. I went down this TikTok algorithm the other day, hours and hours of watching monster truck videos. And monster trucks do flips. They do these ones where they fall to their side and then spin round and come up. Wicked, man. It is some of the best shit that I've ever seen. There's no way some cycling Mikey bike riding type is doing that. You need to be a full-on Republican, God bless Donald Trump, the gays are going too far, I love Jesus. You have to be like that to want to do a flip in a monster truck. Liberals aren't going to be able to do it. We care too much about the environment. We care too much about safety. What if the monster truck flips and hits the crowd? Republicans, right? That shit. We're seeing the monster truck do a flip. If it goes through the crowd, they die a man's death. So I don't care how many people have to die. I want to see the monster truck do a flip. People say the right wing don't have culture. They do. The left, we make A24 films where there's a sort of theme in it where you have to think about articles and go, oh yeah, I guess society is going that way. Right wing people, here's a video of us beating up Dylan Mulvaney for no reason whatsoever. And by the way, Sean Strickland's arguably one of the liberal ones. He's anti-Trump. That's the most liberal person in the UFC, posting AI videos of them beating up transsexuals and then going, I don't understand why gay people need a month. Maybe that's why. Maybe Islam Makhachev, I would argue, one of the greatest fighters of all time. Incredible fighter, Dagestani, part of Khabib's crew. Khabib, of course, another one of the greatest fighters of all time. Completely changed mixed martial arts with the introduction of Dagestani wrestling. That dominated for years. Said a thing about how he's too afraid to talk out about the LGBT community because of what they'll do to him. How high do these people think the gays go? The guy in charge is an evangelical. Trump isn't even an evangelical Christian. He's just backed himself to the point where all we can do is be an evangelical Christian. There's no way that guy is the least Christian guy I've ever seen in my life. It's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to go into heaven. Let's see if he embodies any of that spirit. But here's Donald Trump talking about price for the playoff tickets for the New York Knicks. Donald Trump is going to one of the games. Very excited to go to one of the games, but this is a problem in America. We're seeing it with the World Cup. We're seeing it with the playoff series. Here he is talking about the prices, the man of the people who's come in to make America great again, to make it better for you.
The cheapest price for the game 3 you're going to is $8,000. Everyday Americans can't afford these sports.
Well, I know, but they can watch it on television. It's sort of semi-free to watch it on television.
You still have to pay for it. It's not semi-free. You have to buy a sports package.
But that's the way life goes.
That's the way life is. That's the man who loads of you voted in to make it better for you. No more wars. That's the man that's the way life is. That's something your dad says to you when you were a kid and you ask for an ice cream and he says no, and you go, it's not fair, and your dad goes, well, that's the way life is. That's the actual president of the United States telling you, if you go, hey, I want to see my sports team play and it's 8-5, there's not a possible way. Well, that's the way life is. That's as good an impression as I can do. What an insane piece of philosophy. Well, the sports team's successful, so that's the way life is. And like I say, this is a cry of a crumbling empire that is, and here's my prediction, I don't think it's fascist yet. I think it's going to go there if this gets his way. Because even like centrist right people eventually stray would rather go with fascism because they're too afraid to have anything slightly liberal involved. They're going to go with fascism to protect $8,000 playoff tickets for the Knicks game. They would rather go with fascism than maybe a bit of social equality. And that's what you all voted in. Everyone told you that this would happen. Every comedian who had him on a podcast, every comedian who had Vance on a podcast, who's now coming out, we didn't foresee this happening. You are such a fucking grifter of epic proportions. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself, apart from Tim Dillon, because I like him. He's the only one I will allow, even though he's the worst of them all. I enjoy his podcast. In fact, I rip off his podcast. So therefore, Tim Dillon is allowed because I've ripped him off. Joe Rogan the other day I saw talking about how he's been to Peter Thiel's house twice. Joe Rogan's so fucking retarded, he doesn't even realize he's compromised. He did it. People think the CIA turned up and got Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's such a fucking CTE, and I fucking love Rogan, by the way. I love that podcast, but I can't listen. It's like the UFC. I can't listen to it anymore because every week it's just him talking about the culture war. It's someone worth hundreds of millions of dollars talking about ice baths because that's the only way he can have a challenge in his life now. Because he's got so much money, he's so out of touch of reality, he has to sit in an ice bath and a sauna and tell you that that's what trying is, while there's people listening to his podcast doing 12-hour shifts. And he has the balls to tell them that that's what they got to do to make their life harder. But he doesn't even realize he got compromised. Why the fuck is the guy with the biggest media platform in the world going to Peter Thiel's house to have dinner? And just why is he having Elon Musk on a podcast, who owns one of the biggest social media platforms, offering zero pushback? And it all ties into this with the UFC that is ran by Dana White, has ties to Trump. And fair play, Trump was massive for the UFC and when it was getting banned by, I believe it was John McCain across certain states, and John McCain called it human cockfighting, which it isn't, and part of the fun of it is it kind of is, but it isn't. And Dana White said to Trump, and this is so intelligent, Dana White was like, why are you going to go on CNN? Why are you going to go on things where you're going to be offered actual pushback? Why don't you go on Joe Rogan's podcast? Why don't you go on Theo Von's podcast? Why don't you go on Andrew Schulz's podcast? I like Andrew Schulz. I really like Andrew Schulz. I don't know him at all. I love his stand-up. I like his podcast. Rogan was massive part of me growing up. Theo Von, I met once. Weird dude. He was going through it. I think he has a few mental health issues. It's always good to, if you're having a few mental health issues, have someone running for the president on your podcast. That will really calm that down. That's actually what they say on Headspace. Take some deep breaths, make yourself a green tea, and then have a man who has ties to Jeffrey Epstein on your podcast. And relax. Dana White sent Donald Trump on that podcast circuit because he knew there would be zero pushback. There wouldn't be many questions asked. Trump is a phenomenal politician in how he skirts around questions. He goes on them. They have much wider reach for the audience. And now all of these comedians are like, wow, he came on my podcast and he lied to me. Yeah, you're not a journalist. You're a comedian. One thing I made very clear when we first started, we would not have any politicians on it. Do you know why? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just here. You can't hide behind this thing of, I'm just here to be funny. And then suddenly you have the president of the United States on your podcast. It doesn't work. I said this to my dad. My dad had Zach Polanski on his podcast. I don't know why. What are you talking to him for? You're a comedian. And I like Polanski. I think Polanski, if he wants to win the next election, he needs to start going on like James English podcast. Don't know if you've seen James English podcast. It's perfect for politicians. But that's the audience that Polanski needs to reach. And this all ties in together. The American comedy scene, UFC, Donald Trump, his approval rating is on the floor. By the way, let's find out, how did Donald Trump, did he end up enjoying that game? $8,000 a ticket? Did he have a good time? You've been invited to the game, you've closed off loads of the parties, then there has to be loads of security because every week someone's taking a fucking shot at you. And miss him, by the way. Oh no, he didn't enjoy the game, he fell asleep. Why is anyone bothering to assassinate this c***? Why? Just go boo at him, that's all you've got to do. He's on death's door. Save the ammunition. Why are you trying to shoot him? It's a waste of everyone's time and money. Just blow up a paper bag and bang it next to his ear and he'll go down. The f*** are you doing? The guy can't even stay awake at a playoff game. He's in charge of a country. If you're over the age of 60, you shouldn't be in charge of a country. You're 60 years old. First of all, here's what needs to happen. If you are to be president of the United States, part of the debate should be, you come out there, there's an iPad, and you have to log into Starbucks Wi-Fi. And if you can't do it, you're not getting a go at being in charge of the country. You old fuck, get out of here. What, you're going to press the nuclear button? Man who can't log into Starbucks Wi-Fi? You're going to be given a nuclear code? You're having a laugh. But he's now throwing on this propaganda fest with the help of the UFC at the White House. And all the time we're told, keep politics, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, keep politics out of sports when it comes to Black Lives Matter or LGBT rights, player welfare, CTE happening, any of these things going on in sports, when there's ever a social issue that needs to be spoke about, keep politics out of sports, keep politics out of sports. It's such a cop-out because politics affects everything in life. The whole reason sports work is because it's deeply political. The reason Muhammad Ali is considered one of the greatest ever is because of his political stance. And back then, keep politics out of sport. Keep Muhammad Ali needs to keep politics out of sport. It doesn't work like that. The whole reason the Miracle on Ice, one of the greatest sporting achievements within American history, is because of the politics involved. It's the USSR v the USA. But in a minute, it comes to like, hey, Colin Kaepernick's taking a knee because of police brutality towards Africa. No, now we've got to keep politics out of sport. When it's the Miracle on Ice, no, politics needs to be in sport because that's patriotic. They're showing good things about the country. But when it's Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, even over here in the UK football, like, hey, we're having pride corner flags, just so maybe some kid in the crowd who's gay might be able to feel, no, keep that out of sport. But then the UFC is at the White House. How is that keeping politics out of sport? The next time something political happens in the UFC that's slightly left-wing and these things are brought up, we're going to have to hear keep politics out of sport. You're doing it at they're walking out in the Oval Office. You have made politics part of sport. Just do fascism already. Stop cock-teasing us with it. Just do it. Just do it. It's boring now. I'm bored. I'm bored of your arguments. I'm bored of these things. Just come round to my house and beat me to death for being a liberal. Because it's just, what are we doing here? It's tiresome. It's tiresome. Don't do that, by the way. That was a bit. I know most of you idiots are going to... It's like over here, man. Like, I don't understand. Like, I saw it. Holly Holm once did this massive speech. But let me just say something about the women's division, and to give props to the UFC. The women's division has been as pushed as the men's. The women's division in that sport, people watch just as much as the men's. Amanda Nunes was an openly gay fighter, and credit to UFC fans, nobody gave a fuck. Nobody gave a fuck. She'd go out there after winning however many championships she's won, one of the greatest of all time. She'd go out there with her wife and her kid, so nobody gave a shit. Because there is this weird thing with MMA fans where I was surprised the LGBT community didn't make more of her. She'd just go out there, beat the out of a woman and bring her wife and kids in there. Thank God, because she's Brazilian. So even while I stood there as a gay woman, still all down to God. Don't know if she's seen what God said about her, but the UFC can actually be a weirdly more liberal spot. It was actually what it should be. Nobody cared. It wasn't like, oh my God, oh my God, it's wonderful to see a gay woman. No, everyone was just like, yeah, cool. Go smash that woman's teeth in. It was progressive. We don't give a fuck about your sexuality. We want to see you break a woman's arm. Is that not a fair and cohesive society, if there's ever been one? There's no, like, when you have fighters putting out videos of them beating up trans people, when you have fighters speaking out against LGBT community stuff, and then the president is there, and this is what happens. It becomes this right-wing fanfare, and for the president to keep hold of a feeling that he's important and he's powerful because this guy wants to feel like an emperor, he has to go to the UFC, he has to go to MMA, he has to go to a sport that I adore. I love watching these fighters. Some of the greatest nights of my life has been when I've met some of these fighters, and they are lovely, lovely, lovely people. They really are. They're welcoming. They're nice. I've always found this with MMA gyms. They're super sound. Sometimes they're a little bit right wing, and they find out you're left wing. You have a laugh, but no one gives a shit too much. They're welcoming good people. And they're being exploited by Trump. That's what's happening. They're being exploited by Donald Trump. They're not being paid enough by Dana White. And then they're being brought into this thing that's just used to propagate this guy who is in the Epstein files. So all of this family values, what gay people are doing to the world, they're ruining, they're getting the kids. And then here's a man who is literally in the Epstein files. But hey, keep politics out of sport though. Guys, he might have allegedly done some diddling with the children. But we need to keep politics out of sport, okay? He might have been mentioned in the Epstein files more than Jesus Christ was mentioned in the Bible. But keep politics out of sport. Just watch the sport that is governed by laws in your country, financial regulations within your country, only works on a fanfare, and part of the build-up of it is based off putting two people culturally against each other and them trash-talking each other in their difference of opinions of where they're from, which is governed wholly philosophically by different places and values, which is in itself incredibly political. But you need to keep the politics out of the sport and just watch it for what it is. Two men who are repressed homosexuals fighting each other. Let us know what you think in the comments about all of this. Please don't come to my house and kill me. This has been one of my favourite episodes I've ever done. Keep politics out of the comment section as well, guys. I know we talk about politics a lot on this show, but keep politics out of the comment section, please. I've been Elliot Steel. You guys have a lovely week.